So we're at the based Melborune, and this game was created on April 20, 2018. So looks like it must be the F1 2007 because I cannot able to trust for the lap times because whatever that I absolutely did when it wasn't able to get lap time counts on this track will be unable to finish for some laps for saving laps when I rejoin this game as self. And if we're gonna be playing with everything, I'm not gonna be playing myself like this because it's got to be age restriction, and because of these cars are not look like the F1 2007s. They are look like literally fake. So we have available 2007 F1 cars to choose from. The only available thing is going to be using for Jordan, Ferrari, BMW Sauber, McLaren, Renault, Williams, Red Bull, and the bar Honda, and the next thing was Toro Rosso, and the Toyota as well, and arrows as probably that I'm going to be choose some. And if I'm going to be starting for, I will might able to go start with, let's go with Williams for something like else. So if you're going for turn and handle like these cars are unable to turn as smoothly as I possibly that I can go. So I just literally just cut this corner, so everything's just not going to be okay for this time. So I might able to go for just only lap times for there, and instead I just absolutely using for Williams. It might able to go for fall for the Williams racing cars. Exactly as well, it won't able to win for so much until it might able to go for a last place during the 2019 season as well. I might able to finish for the lap time. I mean, it was absolutely a out lap as well because how many times that I cannot able to say it's running out of time, but the lap times won't able to get count for something like that. Now I'm about to do is I'm going to be doing for only one lap at a time. This is not a during this race. This must be a weirdless monstrosity, so the lap time won't able to get counts. But I just understeer for this in the first corner because I absolutely swear this is absolutely such a big waste of time. So the yellow lane ends in front of the field, and looks like we just have to end the like here. And it's probably not going to be such a very good time. So if I'm going for an onboard view, it will be much more dangerous than I can hear. It must be something like kind of like a weird things or something like this. It's probably not going to be such a winning like this if I'm going for an onboard view. So here we go. Until next lap, until I'm able to go to do so, it's not going to be feeling such a very bad time, but it will be taking for a few long steps that I might continue for a only one lap at a time. So I unable to go turn on these things because it's unable to steer because the brakes has been locked, the steering lock as well is probably not going to be do so because of these absolutely for steering lock that I absolutely driving for a very long time. And because I cannot able to continue for good laps, so I suggest I might able to get back into the pits and move into the next one. Let's go with the BMW Sauber himself. So I'm just absolutely going to be choosing this one. So I might able to actually going for onboard view. So here we go. So this lap time will be going for a lap time for just watch. And because of just for lock on steering as possibility I can do so, it's probably makes so extremely pain. I almost get killed out there, and it's probably not going to be trying to say this like this way. It's probably never going to be such a very good time, and it's nothing that I can absolutely going to cut this corner, and is cutting this corner for every time and every single time. And it's absolutely terrifying as well because of lock on steering. It's just made a waste of time and lap times as well. If I just crash into a wall, the lap times has been disabled. If I just lap time but itself, and which is probably gonna be to do so, and it's probably activated as well. I'm not going to be hitting some walls or itself. So if I move out to the onboard view by itself, it is not going to be such a very long time for this one. Absolutely, I cannot able to say everything that I am about to do, so I'm not going to be such a very long good time. But until I just failed so many laps, I'm not going to be back into the pits as well. And unfortunately, we just never completed one lap. And let's see the lap time counts. And probably the lap times just won't able to get count. And I just killed myself. And I just absolutely just respawning myself in just 5 seconds. What I'm absolutely going to be using for a Jordan. So let's get right into this kind of one thing that I'm not sure that I'm going to be driving with this thing. I'm using as a chase cam because we're going to be doing only one lap at a time. So I'm going to be just still, but I'm not going to be do such a very bad thing that I have to slow down. It's unable to steer, but it cannot be. But until lap later, but this time it won't able to get. It cannot be for this one, and absolutely this car is unable to steer left or right because I cut this corner and cutting this one corner at a time, but everywhere that is unable to do so. It feels like it's very bad to drive all of these F1 2007 cars, but this time it's unable to do so. But I'm sure we failed so many laps. And I just going to get back into the pits for this time, since I just respawned the BMW Sauber and Jordan as well. So I'm going to be choosing the hours as I possibly that I can do before I'm using for a Toyota as well, but not the Alfa Romeo such as thing. And I'm not going to be doing such as well that I'm stuck in the middle of the pits and I won't able to get around things before that. And I'm just going to be completing somewhere for a laps to go. Now, this F1 car is a little bit slower than I ever seen. So we're going to be doing for just lap time for just only for myself. And I'm unable to steer. And then it's just kind of a little bit much worse. And in the first corner that you might able to turn right now, if you turn for just only too hard, it's unable to steer by itself. Which means it's unable to steer, but it cannot be as such as possible that I could do. Which means it must be some kind of problem by itself, but due to this recent actions, but it's kind of a little bit for something like this. And it's probably kind of due to the understeer. It's so much very understeer this car. It cannot able to get understeer. It's a little bit slower at this moment because of the steering lock as well, and because of the steering lock, as unfortunately in first turn there might able to get caused for a steering problems and steering lock, as this is much worse than I ever seen. So I might get ever to get back in the pits, and it's probably got to get ruined by itself, and it's not gonna be such a very easy. It's such a very tragedy for hard nostalgia thing, and it's not gonna be such a very best thing, but 2007 as well, as I probably finishing for one lap as we failed, and I'm going to get killed myself in the first couple of corners. So let me just jump and reset for my character by myself. But not last at least, I'm going to be driving a Toro Rosso. Maybe I might going to get understeer at this moment because I just stay in the grass before I just might able to get for some kind of a steering lock, which is probably not heavily worse. And since in 2007 they might not introduce with this car, and in this Toro Rosso that I'm going to be driving, and the top speed of the Toro Rosso F1 car is 207 studs per second. So let me just going for an onboard view for one more, and I just got for in the steering lock once again, and probably I'm not going to be saying for another way for just only one. And looks like we just gotta be a last few couple of corners, and I just spin out for just only one time, and we just failed for everything for each time, and I can't able to do so because it feels a lot of bit bad for this only this thing, but only just one thing that I ever to get for a final couple of corners before the long straight until finish. This is where this is such a very bad and unbelievable things that is not very unacceptable for this. I'm just going to get out of the onboard view and let me just finish this right away until I might able to get back into the pits. And unfortunately, I'm going to be jump out of this car, and it's understeer by the way, and I'm going to be saving myself for this time. So I hope you guys enjoy for this. So if you like for today's video, so make sure this game is linked in the description below, so I might able to reset my character. And see, I'm not going to be doing this as well. Now please sure to like and subscribe and click that bell that I just respawn the Toro Rosso card. But that's it for this video. So if you enjoy for this, make sure you want to leave a like in this game. So it might contain for dislikes and I might able to give a bad review at this moment. So thank you guys so much for watching for this moment, and I hope you appreciate it too all. So this is Turbo Concept signing off, and I'll appreciate it. And I'm going to be talking to you guys in the next video, and I'll see you in the Spanish Grand Prix.